Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Coffee and Cannoli podcast. Joined once again by Campo over here on the side this time, and below me we have the Putty Man.
Why
Welcome
am I
back.
on the bottom? Why am I
You're
on
always
the bottom?
because you can
started
support
from
us.
the bottom and you're still there.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
this is a part two, I guess, to the last video we did about RPGs, and this time we're talking what people would consider the true RPG, and that's the JRPG, the Japanese RPG, the turn-based.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Yeah, domo
Yeah,
desu.
what he said. Okay.
But the
Robert
Japanese
Smith.
RPG, that's where the whole turn-based system started. When people think of RPGs, they think of Japanese RPGs, the Square games, Capcom had some. That's where the RPG started from. So this time around with the JRPGs, Putty Man, I'm gonna have you start with this with your number 5.
Why me? Okay, here we go.
Because
My number 5 is Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Wow, really, Campo? Really? I can't wait to hear what your number 5 is.
because his number 1 is Chrono Trigger. Maybe. I don't know. Go on, Campo.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
What order are we in? Hold on, let me drag these around. I'm all lost over here, lost in the
Buddy's
song.
on the bottom, you're on the side.
My number 5 is a Caps, obviously. It's my only Caps. Fire Emblem Awakening and Bravely Default.
Well, Fire Emblem can go off my HM now.
Yeah, Fire Emblem is Bravely Default. That is such a criminally underrated game.
Never played
Criminally
You need
under.
a 3DS, baby.
Yes,
Oh, no wonder. Okay,
and I would say Bravely Second would be just as
Bravely Second is good.
Yeah. For my number 5, it's Caps as well, and I have Dragon Quest 11, the most recent Dragon Quest game, Echoes of an Elusive Age, caps with PlayStation 2 Classic, which is Xeno Saga.
That's in my. Oh wait, no wait. I have a different Xeno in my honorable mention. Sorry.
Xenoblade.
No. All right.
Go ahead.
Number 4. All right, Campbell, kill me. I don't care. It had to be on my list. I'm putting on there. You can get mad at me all you want, and it's Fantasy Star Online. I know it's an MMORPG.
That's a great game.
But I'm saying it's an MMORPG.
Yeah, but you could have put any other Fantasy Star and I would have said great game.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, there's other ones in my honorable mentions, but that's just I love that.
My honorable mention, I'm just going to tell you now, it's just all Fantasy Stars, so I'm not even going to tell you when I get there. I get that out of the way right now.
Campo, your number 4.
My number 4 is Persona 5.
I've never played a Persona, and I want to so badly.
They're all pretty good.
I know. I
actually went started going back and replayed Persona 4 on the PC.
Yeah, Persona 4 is really good. Persona 5 Royale or whatever it's called.
The deluxe edition.
Arguably a 10 out of 10.
But they won me over when I heard there's a character named Joker. I was just
it's honestly like a 10 out of 10. It's as close as you can get to like a
you need about 4 years of your life put aside for it.
It's too much. It's just too
that's
much.
The problem. It's the reason why my number 2 game I hadn't played any of the sequels, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. My number 4 is Chrono Trigger.
Okay. So my number 3 is going to be very controversial. I know this for a fact, and I don't care. I loved it. I was addicted to it, and that's Secret of Mana.
Fantastic game. Campo.
Some like Japanese guys like, you stupid white. When you said Secret of Mana.
Oh
yeah. So my number 3 is, that's what I'm on, right?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7.
The original or the remake?
Both.
My number 3 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Campo? I was waiting for him to say something.
That's an RPG.
That's an RPG.
All right, number 2 for me is Kingdom Hearts.
That's a good one.
And I know people are like, wouldn't that be Western? Nope. It's made by Square Enix and they're Japan.
I mean, I would allow that have to been on either list.
Yeah, but I felt like it was more of a JRPG, especially since like the first game had separate rock.
It is actually JRPG, but it's so focused on Western things.
Pop culture, I guess, is
but that's fair. So my number 2 is Final Fantasy 3-6.
Mm-hmm. My number 2 is Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah, you made the list. I'm so excited that someone else had it.
Yes.
Number one.
Yeah, you're number one, Putty.
Is it any surprise? Here's the thing. I just couldn't pick a favorite, but I do have a favorite out of all of them, which is number 9. But I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to put number 9 on here, but say all of them as well. And that is Final Fantasy. So it's
Just
9.
a series.
But,
So all 39 million games
I don't give a
number
crap.
one.
There's
Even Final Fantasy 13.
Okay. I forgot about that one. Maybe let's kind of forget that one because I remember one. Okay, maybe one's out of there. Okay. But anyway, no, Final Fantasy just in general was what brought me into RPGs, and I had to like put his number 1 no matter what. But 9 is my favorite, so I'll say 9 if I had to pick only one.
Put 9 there because 9 is criminally underrated.
It's the third best.
Well, see, I understand 7. I'm not saying I don't love 7. I played. I played probably 7 more than I did 9 because of the time frame. But 9 pulled my heart.
Listen, being the third best out of those other 2 games is like
it's still a good thing. Yes.
Yeah, like I mean, you're not. I mean, most of the Final Fantasy games are good. Yeah. I just tried to keep this list as simple as possible.
Well, I didn't see you saw I didn't cap, but I was like, you know, if I'm going to cap anything, I'm going to go hardcore cap and just say Final Fantasy.
Okay,
you're
so I got number 1 here. Okay, number 1 in our hearts, number 1 in our dreams, number 1 on IGN's best RPGs of all time. It's the greatest RPG ever made. It's unrivaled. It's not even close. It's Chrono Trigger. You're all idiots.
Chrono Trigger. It made all our lists. So that's the important thing, right? Because my number 1 is actually kept, and that's Final Fantasy 3-6 and Phantasy Star 4.
I will allow that. That's why I didn't know why you put online. You could have had Phantasy Star 4. That's my. So before we review this, my number 1 honorable mention is Phantasy Star 4.
Mm-hmm. The greatest Phantasy Star game there is. But he's kicking himself. I love it.
That was so close to making my list, but I wanted to respect the 3DS games because I really liked those.
You know what? And I'm glad you represented with Bravely Default there.
Yeah,
it just online was so different because it was online. It's my first RPG online. There was
that's a good game.
And we're not
myself.
When you said Phantasy Star, I was expecting you to say 4, and you didn't. I was like,
totally didn't think about it because online still.
That was what my reaction was about before, and I just didn't want to like talk.
That's why we went. Yeah, Phantasy Star 4 is the greatest Phantasy Star game there is.
It is,
and it's
but you know what? You have 3-6. And it's like Final Fantasy 7 overshadows everything, and I have to give Putty that with his 9.
Yes,
it's 7.
9 went back to
everything.
It went to the truth.
So good. 3-6 is so 9 said, look what Final Fantasy 7 did well, but we're gonna take it back to the old way.
And that's what made me love it so much.
Yeah, and it's great.
I remember.
But
I actually remember. I remember I did buy the NES game of Final Fantasy games, but the first Final Fantasy game I actually bought was on the Game Boy. And I remember the first time I played that and took that around with me, I got so absorbed in that little sprite that I had to go and buy all the other ones. And of course, I couldn't get them where I was. I couldn't get all.
That was which one? That was Final Fantasy Legends, wasn't it?
Yes.
Or was it? Yeah.
Legends. It was Legends. And see, the thing is, then I got all the other Final Fantasies on NES, but I couldn't get them all. I literally had to wait till PlayStation 2, I think it was. You get all they had them in a bundle.
One.
It was a 1. I can't remember, but the thing is I remember seeing those little sprites of like the mage and everything, and the mage would have that little hood, and you couldn't only see his eyes. There was blackness with these little white eyes, and those little things right there were so dear to my heart. And then when I saw 7, 8,
you mean that guy, the same guy that's in Super Mario RPG and in He-Man?
I know, but yeah,
Orko,
yeah, that's another reason why too. That definitely helped it out. And I was a huge He-Man fan, so of course. But that's my whole point. Seeing that, and then when they came out the other ones, I loved 7, I loved 8. I loved the gun blades in 8. I thought they were amazing. I loved what they did with
10 is a good game too.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm nothing against it. 10 actually was the first time they brought the voice actors in, but then 9 was like, now we showed you how we can make these games. Let's go back to
that medieval setting with that with some futuristic, almost like a steampunk type of.
You have to understand that little mage. That was the first character I ever named Putty. in a video game. They let me rename it, and I never renamed anything else. But when I saw that character, I said, "That's my putty." And from that point on, I was like, "That was my first ever naming something putty."
That is the stereotypical what you think a mage would look like, with the pointy hat and the blue cloak and like the hidden face. It's like that's your typical black magic user.
Wait, do you know what I named mine?
What?
Guess.
Like Campo? I don't know.
No. So in Super Mario RPG, the guy who looks kind of like that, Gino. That's what I named him.
See, Super Mario RPG came out afterwards, didn't it?
No, it came out before that.
Way before. That was N64, bud.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
Super Nintendo, wasn't it?
Nintendo.
Yeah,
Super
that's actually on my
Nintendo, yeah.
list, and I totally forgot. It's actually on my
Okay, anyways, I have a copy of Final Fantasy IX, the Canadian version that comes with the French instruction manual, which is rare. So
I have that one too.
But for people in Montreal, it's not rare, so I got it for a good deal.
Yeah, but the whole series, even I would argue, even 15 is a really good game.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, I would have loved to get 15 if it didn't get pushed back and then pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then my pre-order got erased because the game got pushed back so many times that I never got the game.
Now, I will tell you, there was one Final Fantasy, and I'm forgetting which number it is, but I actually bought it when it came out the first day because I was so excited. And then I can't remember what number it was, but it was the one I got it on 360, I think, and it was the one where you're the blonde-haired girl with the whole white outfit, and I remember you had to like save it they always save it crystals.
Tactics?
No, it was one of the
that's
numbers.
Final Fantasy 13, Lightning.
That's the 13. Okay, then that's the one I hated. That's the one I hated most of all.
Pulse L'Cie, where everybody gets crystallized.
That one's divisive. A lot of people don't like that.
Because it's not an open world. It's very linear. But then again, so was 10.
So was 7.
Yeah, but 10 had something different. And the reason I feel like 10 was so good was 10, not just because of the voice actors, the characters, even though now when you look back at it, maybe they didn't have as much characteristic, but because of the being like a huge thing for the PS2, it felt like they had more life back then. You know what I mean? And now looking back, maybe they didn't. But I remember I'm not gonna lie, I had a crush on what's her name. Like I was one of those people that
everyone had a crush on Tifa, so we could take that back to Final Fantasy VII right there.
Yeah. Well, Tifa, yeah. But you get what I'm saying. My point is
yeah. Listen, you're gonna be happy because I promise you, the next remake that comes out is gonna be 9.
If it does, oh my god,
it's going to be 9, and then it's gonna be 3-6.
You think like a full, like you think 9 is going to get the 7 treatment?
They did it to 7, and 9 is just as popular as 7 in my opinion.
But are they going to release 9, or are they going to release Chapter 2 for 7 remake first?
Well, they are. But
I mean, that's a good point.
But like, are they going to skip 8 then?
And it's going to be 19 years.
8's not as popular.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought it was.
Not as 9 and 7. 9 and 7 are like, when you talk about Final Fantasy, it's 3, 6, 7, and 9. That's the one.
I never knew that. I actually never. I just sincerely loved 9 the best, and I never knew it was actually that popular.
Yeah. Those iconic characters, man. Those are characters people remember.
I thought it was just
the Black Mage like brought it back to the classic original Final Fantasy games, right?
Another reason he was so cool is because it wasn't that the mage wasn't like they didn't make him like an all power. They gave him innocence. That's what made him so great in my eyes.
Right.
Too.
When people think Black Mages, they think evil, they think dark magic, but he wasn't Black Mage. He wasn't evil. He wasn't like you're right. He just used black magic.
Yeah, but even his characteristic, he didn't talk much, but he had a very endearing like innocence to him. You know what I mean? And that's
like Orko.
Yeah, but then in the end, he was the one with the most powerful spell. He had flair.
Oh man, I told you, man. I thought that character was just so.
Let's get off this Final Fantasy train for a bit. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah. I want to go and with my honorable mention, I want to say you had Bravely default and I had Bravely second as well on mine.
That was my honorable mention.
Yeah, it was.
Buddy, what was your number 1
for my honorable mention?
Yeah,
A Legend of Dragoon.
Okay, and mine was Phantasy Star 4.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Legend of Dragoon. That was a good game.
Yeah, I felt like it was one of those ones that went under the radar, but it was so different in my eyes. You know what I mean? I mean, it had the same elements, but I don't know why it felt different. The dragon theme, the way you became the dragon was the thing. But another one, it was kind of tied into that, and did not get a lot of love, and it was actually on the Game Boy Advance, and that's Golden Sun.
Golden Sun is a fantastic game.
I remember
Dragon Quest.
Oh well, yeah.
Well, I had Dragon Quest on my list.
He had Dragon Quest.
I had Dragon Quest, the latest one though.
Yeah,
But
I
then
have
again, Dragon
There's
Quest,
a few good ones.
Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2 was fantastic. That was the first. That was like more. That was all. It looked like basically Dragon Ball RPG, without calling it Dragon Ball.
Oh, and the one I was confused about earlier was Xeno Gears.
Xeno Gears. Wasn't Xeno Gears a fighting game?
No,
No.
Xenoblade is a fighting game.
No, Xenoblade Chronicles is an RPG.
Oh, yeah.
I played that on the Wii.
Yeah. You're right. See, I'm getting confused now. Anyways,
wait, no, but Xeno Gears is an RPG, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's all part of that Xeno like ethos, I guess you can call it. Like there's Xeno Gears, Xenoblade, Xeno Saga. It's all part of that realm.
No, Xeno Gears is an RPG.
Is an RPG? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought so. Okay. It has fighting elements, I think.
All right. Well, I would be remiss if I did not have the next ish number of disasters on my list. I don't know what language that was. Super Mario RPG.
That's actually on my list. I
think that is the game that got most people into RPGs in North America. Most, not all.
Most. My generation was probably a little different.
No, I have one on my list, and me and you, JD, talked earlier that was a precursor, and I've got to say, I think this is what brought everyone to RPGs, so I'll say it whenever I'm ready.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, Pokemon Red and Blue.
We were discussing that with, Pokemon is an RPG.
Tell me how it's not an RPG.
I'll tell you why it's not, because the answer on my list is the correct answer, and that's Pokemon Yellow.
Yes, but Blue and Red came out first.
But Pokemon Yellow is the far superior game.
Yellow was only popular because of the series, because of Pikachu. Blue and Red is what made it famous.
It took Blue and Red and made the games better. It was a more expanded game,
right? But I just say what brought.
I win,
but that also started the whole. We're going to release the 2 Pokemon games, and here's an amalgamation because you had Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, then they released Pokemon Sapphire or something like that.
No, it was after that. It was all 2s. There was Sapphire, Ruby, there was Emerald, and whatever. There was Crystal, and then there was Silver and Gold.
Yeah, Silver and Gold and Crystal was the one that.
Yeah, that was the extra one. But it's just the Pokemon X and Y is really good.
Mm-hmm.
X and Y is a lot closer to an actual RPG than the other ones before. And then the remake of Ruby and Sapphire was really good on 3DS. Yeah. And then there was also I don't really like the new ones on the system. Pokemon should not be on a console. Pokemon should be on a handheld.
I'm actually having fun with Sword and Shield.
What's the new one though?
Arcanus or something like that.
Arcanus?
I don't know. It's something.
They hate us because they hate us.
Arctreus or something like that. But they're also remaking Diamond and Pearl,
which are 2 excellent games.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's a really good remake right there. Okay, well, I have Earthbound Worlds.
Mm-hmm. I have that on mine too.
I've never played Mother or Mother 3, which I don't think a lot of people have played the third one.
I've never. Only on emulation World recently.
Is some next level shit. When I was a kid, this is the thing. I know this list is favorites, but I try to have my favorites, but in the way that it's objective, kind of like these are really good games.
Mm-hmm.
Earthbound, when you go back to it, it's not as good. Playing it as an adult, it doesn't hold up as well as it does when I was a kid. It didn't blow me away. If anything, it's a lot more confusing than it needs to be.
I think because of the fact that the main protagonists are kids.
Yeah,
you kind of put yourself in their position, kind of thing. Like if you were in their position at that age, what would you do?
The fighting is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
everything wants to fight you.
See, I feel like it's one of those games I haven't got to play. Unfortunately, I'm familiar with it, and I wanted to play it, but I never got to. But I'm familiar with I've watched a lot of Let's Plays, but it seems like one of those games I would have fun if I was on a certain substance. Let's say that.
No, you'd get angry.
Yeah, you would. It's infuriating. You die so easily, and everything fights you, and everything comes back alive.
Like keep in mind,
so if you leave the area and come back,
it's back there, and you have to fight it again. You did have that with the blobs in Chrono Trigger, but
that's my point though. If you're on a substance, you're going to be like, oh well, man, I'm enjoying the view. You know what I mean?
would rather just play some Diablo 2.
Diablo 2 remake, fantastic.
Yeah, the whole Paper Mario series.
Yes,
that
would be
all of them.
That's an RPG, yeah.
Yeah, and
definitely.
There's a few good ones in there. The Thousand Year Door. Holy crap!
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I have the Ys series as well on my honorable
never
list.
played those,
YVS
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played one of them. I don't remember which one.
Yeah.
PS2.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5, one of those
Yeah.
ones. But yeah, I put that series on there because basically I'm playing 8. I'm playing through 8 right now. Believe it or not, on Google Stadia.
Wow.
I have a decent internet connection now, not like before. We all know what happened in the remember the Attitude Era video.
Oh yeah, I love those videos when we did them.
Yes, I have since upgraded my internet connection. So
Nice.
but yeah, I mean, what else is there?
I've got 3
Putty.
more basically. But
Yeah.
I was gonna wait till-
Go, Putty.
Okay, so my other one I have here is based on Secret of Mana's Legend of Mana.
Mhm.
I did like that one.
The Mana series is very close to going back to what Kemp was saying about that Earthbound. It's that same type of like, it's not turn-based, you're just fighting in the field kind of thing.
It's also like the most Americanized version of a JRPG.
Mhm.
But I can't pretend that they're not good games.
Mhm.
Next one we actually talked about before is Parasite Eve.
Mhm.
Parasite Eve, that's a good game.
Yeah.
And then this one was the controversy, but JD kind of confirmed me, even though I wanted to put Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. But if you're right, if there's no living up your character, I guess you can't. But my second favorite or tie with that would be Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask is, in my
RPG.
opinion, the best Zelda game. But I've never played Breath of the Wild. But Majora's Mask takes everything that's good about
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time and does it better with a darker story, like a really
It was super dark. That
gritty story.
But that's what made me love it, because I was at that realm where I was wanting to play darker games, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, all that stuff was going on, to where to see a Zelda game go so dark, I was like, this is my love, this is my passion. And then the moon's coming at me. Like there's so many times I would go outside, look at the moon, like ain't gonna fall. I was just so loved it.
You had to have perfect save points to beat that game. Perfect.
There were some dungeons you had to start right at the beginning of the first day, because if you don't start one of the dungeons, I forgot which one it was, but you had to start at the beginning of the first day because it takes so long, because you got to go through it 3 times. It takes you all 3 days. Like
that was a hard game. It's a wonderful game.
You needed perfect timing. Yeah,
I have the 3DS remake and I love it. I love the 3DS. That's such an underrated system.
We'll do a 3DS video eventually.
For sure. That's a great system.
Unfortunately, I didn't own a 3DS. I owned a DS, but I never got to own a 3DS.
A DS is a great system too, man.
Yeah. So
a lot of people with the 3DS, a lot of people are turned off by the 3D factor. But
and I'm like, you could turn it off. You just flick the little switch off. It's fun for a gimmick. I like it to show people, like, here, look at this, and you let them play a game for a little bit. Then you just.
Like, I wish I could be with you guys on that list, but unfortunately, I didn't have anybody that had it that I played it with.
Hey, you'll be on all the other lists.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to have you on the Game Gear list.
Oh, yeah.
God,
we'll do the Game Gear list eventually.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any more?
I got a few more. I mean, I want to throw out the whole Tales series, like Tales of Symphonia and all that.
That's
a fantastic series.
I played Symphonia.
Skies of Arcadia.
Skies of Arcadia, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Oh, what were those crappy Nintendo? Well, not crappy. Was Mischief Makers an RPG, or no? The other one.
It's
the same company. It was Rare.
Yeah. It wasn't Vagrant Story, was it?
No. Oh my gosh, Jet
Force Gemini.
Jet Force Gemini. That's an RPG, right?
It was more of an action shooter, I think.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had an RPG though, because I have the collection and I swear there's an RPG on it.
There is an RPG in there. Yes, I remember in the Rare replay.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Well, see, I'm trying to think. I feel like I played something that had that Final Fantasy feel, that had that like top-down view, but then it was also.
But the Arcadia series is so good. You just made me think about that.
Skies of Arcadia is a fantastic.
Skies of Arcadia is so good.
Yeah, but you're probably thinking Vagrant Story.
Yeah,
is the one you're probably.
I think
it had like it looked very. I think Vagrant Story was a precursor to Final Fantasy 12. It had like that type of feel to it.
Yeah.
There was also, which was the other one? I mean, in a way, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Fantasy Tactics is pretty good.
Yeah.
No, Tactics I love, but wasn't Tactics more of like well, you still had the
Tactical
little-
RPG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was more like what Halo Wars or
It's kind of like
XCOM.
Bravely
Yeah,
Default,
XCOM, yeah.
or what's the other one that I said? Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Breath of Fire.
You want to get really
I think we said that
frustrated?
already.
Play some Fire Emblem on 3DS Awakening. It's so hard when you're getting closer to the end of the game. You think you're done, but the game just keeps going, and the things keep getting harder, and you can only move a certain amount of spaces each turn. So if you don't have enough guys in position to fight the monsters, you'll die every time. And it's just like restart.
Just reminded me of another one, Suikoden.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, there's so many. Just like once you start down the rabbit hole, there's so many. And the thing about some of these JRPGs, sometimes you need like to put 3 years of your life aside just to play. Like if you want 100% some of them.
Well, that's what's killing me right now because I know I'm in my head. I'm seeing a game and I'm like, this is an RPG. I know for a fact it is, and it was on the NES. But
top down.
Yeah, it was a top-down RPG, but I can't remember what it was.
Dragon Warrior?
No, wait. Actually, it might have been because I think I always confused that with Dragon Quest.
It is the same. It is the same game. They changed the name of Dragon Warrior in to the US for the US market.
Yeah,
in Japan, Dragon Quest, and in the US was Dragon Warrior.
Yeah,
it was very similar.
There was 4 of them.
Yeah, it was very similar to Final Fantasy. Came out around the same time.
There was also another game, Ultima.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dragon Warrior might be.
Well, Google really came through super quick on this one.
Which one?
Like it just those answers just popped up. There's also oh my god, what's that called? Faxanadu or whatever the fuck.
Faxanadu.
That didn't even pop up. I just thought of it right now.
Yeah, I think that was more of a Metroidvania type of game.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I can't, if I remember correctly.
I'm pretty sure I had that game for some reason. I don't know why I would have had it.
Yeah.
Like my dad would have had to have bought it.
Yeah. Just because he liked the title of it. That sounds like that sounds like a Robert. That sounds like a Rob thing to do.
But yeah, I mean, this list just got me happy.
Yeah.
I love JRPGs. There's nothing I love more when I'm gaming than JRPGs.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, you have to endlessly put hours. Like Final Fantasy 7, the remake, I had like 100 hours. On Cyberpunk, which we talked about on the other list, we all know this. I had I easily had 100 hours, and I did it all in the very beginning of the game without like break. Like I beat that game so fast, where most people are like, I 100%ed that game.
Yeah. With my playthrough when I did my Cyberpunk, a lot of like the leveling up, like stuff like that, like the regular street crimes and stuff like that, I didn't even record when I posted it. Like basically what I went through was the main side wish, like the side game.
Romancing Saga. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the Romancing Saga.
Yes. Romance was a great game.
That's the one I was trying to think of.
Crap.
I forgot about that one.
Romance was a great game.
That was the one.
Look at Putty with that clutch deep cut, eh?
Oh God,
you just blew my mind. I remember being a kid and everyone was like, "Are you going to get the new Romance?"
Yeah, that was one of those games, and it felt like it fell off the earth. Like I was like, "Where the heck did it go?" And I didn't remember.
I would love a Romance remake.
Oh my gosh!
Do you see what I'm saying? I knew there was something that I loved,
yes,
but it felt like Final Fantasy, and that was it. Fuck, it was bothering me because I was like, I can't be Dragon Warrior.
Holy crap, Putty, bro! That is the best thing that happened all day.
All day,
I didn't even remember that existed. You just literally brought back my childhood so fast. They need to remake that game. I gotta buy a copy. I'm getting on eBay. I'm
like, why are we're remaking the Mana series? Let's remake the Romance series.
Yeah, what I'm saying, like I knew there was one that was killing me that was so good, and
Romance was so good.
I'm telling you, man. And I'm like, I'm so mad that I couldn't remember before. I'm so glad I remembered.
No, I'm glad you remembered it. That you know what? I think that's the perfect way to end this video, guys.
Yeah, just end it. I don't want to
just end it right there. We'll leave it on Romance.
I can't beat that.
No, we can't. So on that note, everyone, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time.